Hello, it's Brenda Quintana here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about my Bee Stampers team. I don't often do this, but I wanted to give you kind of a bit of a behind the scenes of what goes on in my team. My team is from all across the US, and we get together in an online environment. Not too many demonstrators are actually in my area. We're kind of spread out throughout the US. And once a month, we get together for a team stamping night. And this night is where we do a mystery card or a mystery technique, or we do kit stamping. And we get together on Zoom. And usually, if we have a mystery night, we have a leader that's kind of appointed for the night, and that person gets to choose the cards for the evening. And I send out the instructions, kind of the basic instructions for the mystery cards ahead of time, or the supplies that you'll need. And then we gather those supplies, and then we get together on the Friday night and we make the cards. And it's kind of fun because we kind of have the bones of the card, and then we come together, and all of our cards will probably be different because we'll be using slightly different supplies. So we'll come together and make those cards, and the person who's leading us will tell us like what we still need to do, like score here, fold here, or whatever. And so I wanted to show you what this month's cards were like, and I'm going to actually demonstrate how to make them too. They are two wonderful little fancy fold cards, and I thought I'd talk about my team along the way. So why don't I flip over my camera and we'll get started, and I'll share my cards with you. All right, so here are the cards that we made, and I'm just gonna move my instruction sheet so I have the dimensions. And on first look, you might think, oh, well, they're just regular cards, but they're not. They're actually fancy fold cards. So this one opens up like this. It's kind of cool. It's got a cool kind of inside fancy fold. And this one's a simple fancy fold that opens up like this. Kind of cool, huh? So I'm going to show you how I made both of these cards. And so for the first card, you're going to need a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this piece measures 11 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And you're going to need a scoring board or a trimmer so you can score on it. And grab my scoring tool. You're going to score at the 5-inch mark and the 10-inch mark. All right. Then we're going to do a fold on here. Just need my bone folder. So this has a little skinny end segment right here. So we're going to fold this one way. And then we're going to fold the other side the other way. We're kind of making a Z like this. So it will look like this. So one goes one way and the other piece goes the other way. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of colored cardstock. I'm going to be using Evening Evergreen because mine are Christmas cards, and I love this new cardstock color that we have this year. And both of these pieces measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So there's an easy way to assemble this card. And you're going to focus on this little 1-inch segment piece. We're going to put glue on that first. A little bit of Tombow. And this piece, this whole piece, the way it's folded flat, is going to center down on this piece of cardstock. So your glue is going down on this piece, and you just need to center it, okay? Got a little excess glue right there. We'll just get rid of that. Okay, so you see it's coming together, and since this little piece is all centered, your next piece will be centered as well. So we'll take the Tombow again, and this time we're going to put Tombow all along this back piece. All right. And then all we need to do to center it is to put this up right on top and then just kind of feel the edges to make sure it is centered with the other piece. So you can just kind of lift it up and feel that it's centered with your fingers and then press down. And your card will be perfectly aligned and ready to go. So how do you figure out what is the top and what is the bottom? So have a look for this little 1-inch segment. That is going to be on the back of the front piece. So once you've identified that piece, you'll know that the opposite side right here is the front. So then it opens up like this. And then you have 2 spaces on the inside to put stuff. So that's the basic card. I'm going to also show you how I decorated it up. So I've got a piece right here, and this piece, grab a ruler. This piece is 2.5 by 4 3/4 inches. And I'm using one of our new stamp sets called Delivering Cheer. Isn't this cute? I love this because the person behind it or the girl behind it can be generic. It can be whoever you want to be because she's hidden. And so let's grab the Memento ink. We're going to use Tuxedo Black here. And I'm just going to ink up the girl's boots and shoes. And about maybe not quite 1/2 inch from the bottom and centered from side to side, you're going to stamp the bottom half of her. And she comes with different tops, and I chose the evergreen bunch for the top. So I'm just going to ink that up. And when you're bringing this together, you're just going to kind of bring it down and until you can kind of see the 2 lines merge. And you're going to twist it a little bit, and then you're going to stamp down like that. All right. Then the last thing I want to do still is, she's got these little leggings. So I'm going to actually stamp those. And again, I'm just kind of hovering over top of the legs until I can kind of see that the placement is right. And then I've got her all stamped. So then for the girl, I'm going to use a few colors of Stampin' Blends. So let's start off with the evergreen tree. I'm going to use the brush tip right here, and I'm just going to kind of brush out over top, and I'm using the dark evening evergreen. I'm just brushing out over these fir branches, and the key to this is to be sloppy. You don't want to be a perfectionist when you're doing this because it will drive you crazy if you do that. So don't be like me. You're just going to just stroke outwards and leave a few little white spaces. And I might need to come in a second and do a little touch up there in the center. So let's do the trunk of the tree. This is soft suede light. I'm just going to come in, and there's 2 little places where the trunk of the tree is, and we're going to kind of merge some colors in there, some red with some green in a moment. So we'll take our light real red, and we're just going to color this coat. I like the pop of red for the coat just so it looks a little bright and holiday-ish. So when we get together on our team stamping night, everyone's working on their own cards, but we get to chat, and it's kind of a casual environment where we can just kind of stamp and share, and it's kind of a nice thing. It's a little bit different than our team meetings where there's like a lot of structure. And this, at the beginning, of course, the measurements are shared. or the instructions are shared, but then it kind of becomes like just kind of a casual evening. So I'm going to add just a few strokes of like red in here. And then I'm going to come in with my green and darken this up, because that's just the continuation of her coat underneath the tree, so you can just kind of see a little bit of red popping through. And then we're going to take some soft succulent light. I'm going to use the bullet tip this time, and I'm just going to color her mittens in soft succulent and also her tights in soft succulent. Okay, and that's all there is to coloring the girl. And just remember when you're coloring her, just to kind of keep it like really casual. Try not to be too perfectionistic, otherwise your tree won't look very good. So then we're going to take this and mount it on a piece of soft succulent. And let me just double check the measurements on this. It is 2 3/4 by 5 inches. So we'll just take that, and we're just going to do a very simple front and just add that on to the front. And then we want to add a piece of paper, double checking to make sure I have the front is the front. And I'm going to use some of this beautiful Christmas paper. It is called Printed Christmas. And this piece measures 4 inches by 2 3/4. And we'll just add it to the front. We'll center it side to side and then use about the same distance right there from the bottom. I want to add a little bit of ribbon right here. If you want, you can use real red ribbon. I'm going to use some evening evergreen ribbon because I had it on hand, and I didn't want a real big pop of red in the center there, so I'm just kind of measuring out to see how much I'm going to need. I'm just going to tie around and do a knot, and if I can find my locking tweezers, I will use them. So I'll just do my first knot, and then I'll lock the tweezers on my knot, and then just trying to decide how this is best going to work out, and then give it a little knot. Okay, and I just went around that first layer of the card right there. I didn't go all the way around the card, otherwise it would not open. And then I can slide this in just a bit if I want to. And then this piece will glue right over top. Like that. Okay, so now I just want to finish off the inside, and I've got 2 shapes that I have cut from one of our Christmas die sets, and this die set is called Seasonal Labels Dies. It comes with a lot of dies, and some of them are labels, so I use those. Actually, one of my labels right here, this one, is still on my die cutting machine, but I cut out 2 shapes so that I could use them on my card like that. So just taking the 2 greetings and the evening evergreen ink pad, and we'll just stamp these on here. Sending love and Christmas cheer, and that one will be right here. And then we're going to do this one that says warming thoughts to you this season. So two really pretty greetings. And I don't know if I picked something up there. Let me just clean this off for a second because it looks a little mucky. And I want to make sure that I didn't pick up something that I didn't want to pick up. All right, let's try this again. So I'll just kind of center that on the label, and that one will go down there. And then I want to add some holly leaves from that same die set that I just showed you. There's some holly leaves and some berries. So we can add that to this label, and I'll just show you how I did that. Just add a little bit to the tip one of these. I'm going to tuck it behind the label, and then I'll do the same for this. Just add a little and just kind of tuck it behind there. And then you can take the holly leaves or holly berries and just kind of add them to the corner right here. And then we'll add this whole thing here, and we'll just center it on this piece. And this is also the piece where you can write your wishes or whatever you want to say. There's lots of space to write on these two pieces, but then it's got some pretty little greetings interspersed, right? And then we'll add this one right here. And there is Fancy Fold number 1. And everyone loved this card because, you know, it's an easy wow, right? It's a really pretty card. And everyone's cards turned out differently. I used this stamp set and everyone used a different stamp set, so that was kind of cool. All right, that was card number 1. Let me show you how we made card number 2. So this time we used the Christmas to Remember stamp set, and I used a greeting from there. So we'll need the scoring board again, and I'm using Evening Evergreen again. And this piece is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm just putting the 8.5 side up at the top. And this time we're going to score at the 2 1/8 inch mark, oops, and the 4 1/4 inch mark. And you can tell I went a little bit off track there. So just a little tip, when you're scoring, it's often better to score standing up. Right now I'm sitting down, but if you ever have trouble by skipping tracks, it's because you're not directly in front of the line you're scoring. The other thing that I was a little bit over here, and so when I came down, it was not right. You need to kind of be right behind your score line. So if you have trouble scoring, most people don't, but if you do, stand up and then just make sure you're coming down on the right track and make sure you're right in front of the line that you're scoring. All right. This will be covered up, so it will be okay. All right, so first we're going to fold this in half. Okay, and then we're going to fold it in half again. So this half and then this one bends back. All right. So let me fold this back. So this is what it looks like. All right. So for this one, the trick for adhering the pieces onto here is you're going to have a inner piece that's going to be covered perfectly by an outer piece of the same size. So this is where you're going to write on. So this is a neutral piece of basic white. And let me give you the measurements for this piece. I know them. 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Is that right? Yes. 3 3/4 by 5 inches is the correct measurement. And I'm just going to place that down here and just center it right on your piece. Then whatever color you're going to use for the outside cardstock. Just pick another color. I'm going to use Real Red. It's the same size, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. We're going to close the card, and this is what will cover it. Now, if you want to add ribbon around this piece, like I'm going to do, you're going to wait and not adhere this yet. So let's grab this piece, 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and grab a piece of paper, because this is the easiest way to make this card. This piece measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. And we'll just add it to the front. It's from the same paper that I used for the other card. And I'll give you the name of the paper again. Just give me a second. I'm just going to add this right on top of that Real Red piece. And this is the paper again, and it's called Painted Christmas. It's our Christmas in our holiday catalog, the 2021 edition. All right, so then we're going to add, nope, we're not going to do that yet. We need to grab some Real Red ribbon, which is in my box way over here. Okay, I got it. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap this around and give it a little cut. And we'll just come over here, and we're going to just tie it on the side like we did the other one. So wrap it around, give it a knot, clamp it down with the locking tweezers, and then give it a little knot like that. And then, whoa, I don't think I did cut the little ends on the other ribbon either. We can do both of those right at the end. Okay, so this one right here, now we're going to adhere this down. And you want to make sure you only put Tombow on half. This half right here, that's going to glue to here. So you only want to put it on half. So this is the side, so it'll be this side over here. And I'm just going to put it on half. I'll just avoid putting it in the ribbon area because this ribbon won't stick well with Tombow anyway. So I'll just do this, and I'm going to just drop this right on top of my basic white piece on this side, and then smooth it down on the other side where the Tombow is. So line up and smooth. You just want to cover the white, so it's very easy to center this top piece because you want to cover the white, and then you can just test it out. It works great. All right, we want to stamp a greeting on here, and we're going to use this one. It says, "Friends like you make this season special." I love that. Grab our evening evergreen again. I tried to keep the supplies the same, and there was a double reason why I kept the supplies the same, is because I didn't want to be running across the room during the team stamping night. I wanted to be there for my team and talk to them. So I brought all my supplies over to my computer, and that's how I worked, right there in front of the computer. All right, I need to find my dimensionals. I really like the team stamping nights because they are a little bit more of a casual environment, and it's something I don't get to do with my customers because Zoom, it's harder to do a Zoom with customers because it's just there's more of them, and I'd have to make sure that we had a secured Zoom room and everything, and with my team, I know I can give them that because we've got our own Facebook group and everything, so it's easier to keep everything secure like that. So I'm just going to take this, and I put dimensionals on the back, and I'm just going to add that on there. And then on the inside, I just wanted to add a little bit of holly as well because it looks better. So just take one of the holly leaves. This one's the bigger one. And I'm just going to put it down here like this. And then I'll take the smaller one. And just add it like here. And then we'll take the holly berries. I love red and green, the traditional red and green of Christmas. And this is not, the green is evergreen, evening evergreen is not quite your traditional green, but I think it really makes the red pop, so I love that. All right, so the only thing left to do really is to cut these like this. Okay. All right. And there is the card. It's so sweet. And this one is the one that I made, and I didn't trim these, so let's go ahead and trim those as well. I always like to angle cut because I think it makes it look a little better than just leaving it flat. So there are the two cards, and you know, it's funny how when you're talking and stuff, like 2 hours goes so quickly when you're working with your team and talking, and it's neat how everyone comes up with different cards, and it's also neat how everyone's there to kind of help each other. If someone has a problem, or if someone says, oh, you know, I don't know what I should do with this layer, and then they help each other and help people decide on things if they're having trouble making a decision. And so it's kind of neat to design your cards with other people as well. And then we kind of do a show and tell at the end. And so I really enjoyed this last team stamping night, and I just wanted to share it with you. So let me come back over to you. I am dropping things big time. Here I am. So if you would like to make these cards, I also will put these cards up as a blog post with a supply list, so you can click on over there and check it out and buy the supplies and make the cards. If you would like to join my team for future team stamping nights, just use the link. Actually, I'm gonna see if I have it right here. That's the link that you need to join, but I'll also put it down below in the description of the video. And all you need to do is get the starter kit. It's always an amazing deal. And once you get the starter kit, you become a part of my team. And I plug you into the email list, our team Facebook group, and you can attend all of our online team stamping events. All right, guys, I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you have a great week. Bye for now.